everyone? My name is Jamon McKinney, or you can just call me Juice because that is my nickname. I want to address the Pittsburgh Steelers in this episode. We'll talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and how they will fare during the 2020 NFL season. Let's get right to it. I'm going to cut straight to the point. I'm not high on Pittsburgh at all. I'm just not. I'm not one of those people that's waving the Pittsburgh Steelers pom-poms this year. I'm not feeling it. I don't think they're very good. I do not think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a good team. I think they're an average team that has a chance to be above average, but that's about it. I don't think Pittsburgh is all that great. I get it. The team went 8-8 last year with Doug Hodges and Mason Rudolph playing most of the games last year. And Doug Hodges and Mason Rudolph are not impressing anyone. They were not very good last year. And I get it. Big Ben Roethlisberger only started 2 games last year. And you're getting hopefully a Big Ben Roethlisberger that's healthy and rejuvenated this year. And he's definitely an upgrade over Mason Rudolph and Doug Hodges. Not even going to dispute that one bit. Big Ben Roethlisberger is a bona fide Hall of Famer that deserves our respect. He's won 2 Super Bowls. And as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the 15 greatest quarterbacks to ever play. I don't quite put him in the top 10, but he's top 15 in my opinion. But see, I don't have high expectations for Ben this year. I don't. Ben Roethlisberger is 38 years old, guys. Ben Roethlisberger has sustained a lot of injuries throughout his entire career. Keep this in mind, guys. Ben Roethlisberger has played a full season only 4 times in his career. And he's played 16 seasons. So for 75% of Big Ben Roethlisberger's career, he has found some way to at least miss a game or 2. And by the way, when Ben was on the field last year for the Steelers, it's not like he was all that great. I didn't see him playing very well versus the Patriots. He didn't play particularly well in that small sample size versus the Seahawks. In fact, last year, Ben Roethlisberger in 2 games, 56% completion percentage, 1 interception, no touchdown passes, and a 66 passer rating. That's not great. And when last seen playing a full season, Ben Roethlisberger led the league in interceptions, and he missed the playoffs. Keep in mind, at that time, Ben Roethlisberger was in a division with a rookie quarterback named Lamar Jackson and the dysfunctional Cincinnati Bengals and Cleveland Browns. And at that time, he had Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell and an elite offensive line at his disposal. I still think the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line is good, but it's not elite anymore in my opinion. Ben Roethlisberger last seen when fully healthy for a full season tied with the Cleveland Browns, who are coming off a season in which they were 0-16. What are we doing here, people? I don't have high expectations for Ben this year. I get it. The last time he was playing, he threw for 5,129 yards and 34 touchdowns. Yeah, guess what? He didn't make the playoffs. He led the league in interceptions. I don't care. I'm not surprised his statistics are high. He had great players around him. So I'm not super high on Ben. And keep in mind, Ben Roethlisberger is 38 years old, coming off a major injury. Are we sure he's going to be nice this year? Especially due to his older age, especially coming off a major surgery. And listen, the Pittsburgh Steelers are not an explosive offensive team. They don't have a true number 1 wide receiver. I love Juju Smith-Schuster to death, but Juju Smith-Schuster is not a top 10 wide receiver. In fact, Juju last year only had 552 yards. Chase Claypool, are we relying on him to make plays for this team? I know he has a lot of promise coming out of Notre Dame, but he's a rookie, and rookie wide receivers are not going to have a full offseason to develop properly because they're going to have no preseason games. And the way this virus has affected these NFL teams, NFL offseasons are not normal. A lot of Zoom meetings, okay? James Washington, he's good, but not great. Deontay Johnson, I love Deontay Johnson. I go to the University of Toledo. I think Deontay Johnson has a lot of potential, but I don't think Deontay Johnson is scaring defensive coordinators. Eric Ebron, you brought him in. Yeah, Eric Ebron, the same guy that never has had 1,000 yards for his entire career. James Conner, did he light the world on fire last year? No, he didn't. He had a solid year last year, But it's not like James Conner was out there running for a bunch of yards and running for mad touchdowns. He couldn't even stay healthy last year. Are we sure he's going to stay healthy this year? The Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line is good, but it's aging. I don't think Pittsburgh's all that great. I just don't. Now, I will say, I do believe the Pittsburgh Steelers defense has a chance to be an elite unit this upcoming season. Last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense was 5th as far as points per game were allowed. They were a very good unit last year. TJ Watt, he's a monster. The last 2 seasons, he's got 27.5 sacks. Devin Bush, very good player out of Michigan. Minka Fitzpatrick definitely over-delivered for the Steelers last year. Cameron Hayward, very good player that no one talks about. But you can't just win in the NFL based off defense. Look at the Chicago Bears last year. They had a great defense. The offense was not very good, and they didn't make the playoffs. So as a result, I'm going to cut straight to the point. I think Pittsburgh is an 8-8 football team. They are 8 wins, 8 losses. I think Ben Roethlisberger will definitely be an upgrade over Doug Hodges and Mason Rudolph, who were below average quarterbacks last year. So Ben Roethlisberger, he jumps up to an average quarterback. Let me put you this way about Ben Roethlisberger. I understand that he could prove me wrong this year, and I will not be shocked if he does. But projecting things, I think Ben Roethlisberger is going to be an average quarterback this year. Last year, Pittsburgh got below average quarterback play in Doug Hodges and Mason Rudolph. I think Ben will give them average quarterback play. But I don't think Ben Roethlisberger is going to have a great season. I think he'll be a good quarterback, but not a great quarterback. This offense is average, very average weapons, very average running backs. I think Baltimore and Cleveland are much better football teams as far as the talent on the roster. When you look at explosive players on both sides of the football, Pittsburgh has explosive players on defense. Not a whole lot of great explosive players on offense. That's just my opinion, though. I think Kansas City is better than Pittsburgh. I think that Houston is better than Pittsburgh, just off the general principle that Deshaun Watson is an elite quarterback. They will magically be better than Pittsburgh because Deshaun Watson is great. I think Denver has better players. I think Buffalo has better players. I think New England has better players. And I think Tennessee has better players. Then I start to get to Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh will be well coached this year. I believe they will be very good on defense. I do think Mike Tomlin deserves our respect. And Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. So I'm going to be respectful to Mike Tomlin and crown him as this elite coach because he is an elite coach. He's great. He's a Hall of Fame coach. And I will not pick the Pittsburgh Steelers to go below 500. But 500 is the max this year. Maybe not the max. I could see this team winning 9 or 10 games. But I'm going with 8-8 for all the reasons that I mentioned. And when I was looking at this schedule, I pointed out all the games that I have a feeling they might lose. I'm just going to point out to you the games on their schedule that they probably will lose. Don't quote me on these games, but these are the games that I feel are games Pittsburgh probably will lose. I believe Pittsburgh in week number 2 does not match up particularly well with the Denver Broncos, as they have very explosive offensive players and a real pass rush. I think Drew Lock is going to pop this year with all those great weapons. I think week number 4 at Tennessee, that's a game that Pittsburgh probably will lose. Tennessee was just in the AFC Championship game last year. I do believe they are more explosive on offense, and they are a very well coached defense. I do believe both Cleveland games will give Pittsburgh problems because Cleveland, they will be a much more well-coached team under Kevin Stefanski, in my opinion. And I just think Cleveland offensively is going to challenge Pittsburgh's defense. And I don't think Pittsburgh's offense can keep up with Cleveland. Both Baltimore games really concern me. Week number 7 at Baltimore, and then week 12 versus the Ravens. Now, I do think Pittsburgh has a chance to split with Baltimore because I respect Mike Tomlin, and they always play the Ravens tough. But I do think Baltimore is definitely going to at least get one game on Pittsburgh this year. They were arguably the best team of the regular season last year. I know Pittsburgh fans are going to get mad at me, but week 10 versus the Bengals, coming off a game in which I think they actually can win, at Dallas, coming off a bye week, they'll probably beat Dallas because I think Mike Tomlin off a bye week is better than Mike McCarthy on any day of the week. And I don't believe in Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, every time he faces a good defense, he struggles. So I do think Pittsburgh can beat Dallas, but coming off that game, I think that emotionally they won't be up for Cincinnati. And we've seen Mike Tomlin teams play down to competition. I think Joe Burrow's a real quarterback. So I think that Cincinnati is going to score some points and actually split with Pittsburgh this year. And looking at week 13 versus Washington, that's a trap game because I think that in week 12, the Steelers will probably have an emotional game versus the Ravens. They will probably get an emotional win at home versus Baltimore. Then they will come down to earth the very next week versus Chase Young and that great defensive line in Washington. I think Dwayne Haskins is a legit quarterback that's waiting to break out. So I think that Big Ben Roethlisberger is going to struggle versus that defense in Washington, okay? And listen, at Buffalo, that's a bad matchup for Pittsburgh because Buffalo, they're very athletic on defense. They can definitely cover up, Chase Claypool and Juju Smith-Schuster with that great secondary. They have a real pass rush, and they have very good weapons on offense. And Josh Allen, to me, has a chance to break out. And then, like I said, I think Cleveland has a chance to actually sweep Pittsburgh this year. So, at Cleveland in Week 17, I favor Cleveland. So, sorry, Steelers fans. I'm not buying your team this year. I'm not. I believe Pittsburgh will be well coached. I believe they will be a competitive team. I believe they are a team that we should respect. But I don't think Pittsburgh is very dynamic on offense. And I think that will catch up to the defense. And ultimately, I think Big Ben Roethlisberger's best days are behind him. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go 8-8 during the 2020-21 NFL season. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.